Hi guys, my name's Sam Saggers, Director of Positive Real Estate. This month there's going to be a coming in election. I can tell you sometimes that creates a little bit of uncertainty on what is going to happen in the real estate market. I can tell you one thing though, politicians own real estate. They usually own plenty of it. So there shouldn't be any policy changes that will affect the current real estate market. What I'd like to sort of talk about is actually potentially what might happen into the future of the Australian property market. I'm going to, throw out a little bit of a crystal ball and show you what Australia might look like in 20 years. Of course, we all need to make decisions on policy, on what we're going to vote for in the upcoming election. But would your choice of vote have an influence on what the outcome of Australia is going to look like? So what policies should be looking for? What are the different signs of who we should vote for? Well, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I am going to share with you some highlights of what I think would make a great property market, from huge transport infrastructure to a big Australia. And that's one thing I think we need to talk about to us today. Australia has 5 cities with over 1 million people. If you learn anything at all about real estate, always learn to at least hold some of your assets in a major capital city. With the urbanization of the world, I can tell you there is more and more pressure on cities to deliver financial outcomes for people. And without a doubt, cities are the future. You know, Mahatma Gandhi once said, India's future is its villages. Well, actually, he was wrong. The future of India today is its cities, and Australia is no different. So when you're thinking about voting and what you're potentially doing, have the mindset to consider what shape will the politicians deliver us, or what cities they will deliver us into the future. Of course, the projected population increase by 2056 sees big cities. And this is what the Australian Bureau of Statistics are planning for. They're looking at Sydney to have around 7 million people, Melbourne 7 million people, Brisbane around 3.5 to 4 million people, and Perth, that's the other big winner, is a city that will grow exponentially to around 4 million people by 2056. But then you look at some other areas that just don't have the capacity to grow. Places like Hobart will only increase by 100,000 people in that time period. These are the forecasts. An example of holding a marketplace back, today Darwin, it's a capital city of Australia. It doesn't even have a university. So when you're thinking of policy, you need to consider this. Imagine Darwin with its own education and medical precinct. It could be the gateway to Asia. You need to start thinking big, because Australia deserves your vote. It deserves you to make sure that you're thinking property, because all these huge influences on Australia will no doubt create you wealth if we choose to vote correctly. So what's the crystal ball of Australia? Well, none of us have one. You know, will Australia end up a desolate place because we just can't irrigate enough food? We can't offer enough opportunity to a growing population. Well, I can tell you right now, 6% of Australia is irrigatable land. It's a very small food bowl. We need to increase our food bowl, because more people means more pressure on property, and of course, everyone needs to eat. I'd like to see Australia with 100 million people, because I believe it'll change just about everything. Our cities will grow, our agriculture will benefit. We need to think about, when we're voting, who's going to provide energy for this growth. It's all good to say populations will increase, but where does the energy to hold growth come from? We need to explore that. Here's another look at Australia in 2056. Look at those population increases. A combined population of 42 million people. That's basically another 20 million people from where we are today. That's how fast Australia is growing. To put it in perspective, there's one new person in Australia every minute, every day. So given households are usually about 3 per household, every 3 minutes we need a new home. That creates huge supply and demand issues on the Australian marketplace. Will property be affordable? Will it go up in value? These are all the things we need to really explore. An extra 39 million people by 2101. That's double and double again on where we are today. And so to put that in perspective, that's 115 new Canberras, 24 new Perths, 20 new Brisbanes. Australia could be a massive place with massive opportunity. And when I look at the property market, I look at, well, you know what? Let's let people into this country. Let's grow the urbanised cities of Australia. And I urge you to look at what you're going to vote for and look at these kind of policies, because at the end of the day, population growth is a great thing for property investors. Anyway, your votes, your life story, I'll leave it to you. Thanks for listening, and for some great tips and strategies on where to invest next, come to one of our property information nights. They're held all around the country. Thanks for your time.